Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's something few people realize can finish you off in seconds? A family friend who taught me how to drive many years ago told me you have to drive like everyone else on the road is an absolute idiot and has no idea what they're doing. I never forgot that. Teaching my son this right now. Every single other car is driven by a moron. Drive defensively. A distracted moron, in fact. I assume that everybody is only devoting about 10 to 20% of their attention to what is going on around them these D0s, including when they are behind the wheel of a vehicle. Navigating the world these days feels like walking in a world of sleepwalkers. As someone who used to ride a motorcycle regularly, I would drive with the mentality that everyone is trying to kill you. You learn to see things before they happen and are ready to react, or reposition in a lane slightly just to give yourself an extra second or two to react. I firmly believe that if everyone was forced to ride a motorcycle for 5 years before being allowed to drive a car, that we would have better drivers on the road. I firmly believe that if everyone was forced to ride a motorcycle for 5 years before being allowed to drive a car, that we would have better drivers on the road. True, but there'd also be a lot fewer drivers on the road in general, because of all the dead motorcyclists. Removed. One time I got into the shower pretty drunk, and somehow slipped so bad that I landed on my spine directly on the side of the tub. It hurt so bad and my back was a huge, sore bruise for weeks. Even smashed, I knew I was lucky that it wasn't my head, face, and knew I was lucky that nothing broke, especially my spine. No more drunk showers for me. You really should still go to the hospital for things like that. My dad was in a bad car accident a while back, but he was able to walk out of it just fine and told the paramedics he didn't need any help. A few days later, it turned out that accident had shattered several discs in his spine to dust. Removed. I think about this nearly every day. I might have just realized it's one of my biggest fears. Swallowing food the wrong way. Learn the self-Heimlich right away. Not but a few years ago I was alone enjoying some pizza when a piece got stuck blocking my airway. Never had something stuck like that before, and so I started to panic. I tried the Heimlich on the kitchen counter corner and nothing. What felt like an eternity, I started feeling myself slipping as I was on my knees gasping for air. In a last attempt to get it out, I put myself in a push-up position and started letting myself drop on my chest, stomach. It fucking came out. I was seconds from passing out. I think about that day often. Edit. Minor detail that I left out is that after I got the piece dislodged I went to look at myself in the mirror. I was some weird shade of blue, purple. Fucking pizza almost got me. I always immediately identify a suitable nearby chair when I eat. I stopped 2 German or Austrian tourists from touching a poisonous frog in Colombia. They had no idea. They were inches away with their phones. I hadn't spoken German in years, but man, my panic reaction brought those words to the tip of my tongue real fast. Don't mess with wildlife, especially outside your own habitat. Halt. Gift. What do I gift the frog before touching it? Removed. Really, driving in general is just hilariously dangerous. It's amazing we all have accepted it as an acceptable risk for convenience. I'm pretty sure driving is by far the most dangerous thing we do on a daily basis. Like, it's not even close. In April 2023, I was driving up the motorway to be a bridesmaid at my brother's wedding. Journey I've done 1,000 times. Car maintained by a great garage, not the type to buy cheap parts. I knew the passenger front tire had a slow leak, had filled it prior to the journey. So anyway, the rear driver tire popped, and then it came off the rim entirely. I knew it had popped from the shaky, I'm in the right lane going too fast because that's how I liked to drive back then. In that first second or two, I'm swearing like a sailor and beginning to pull over to the left when the steering goes completely weightless as the tire comes off. We start to spin. My partner and I go completely silent as we watch our life flash before our eyes. We see the motorway backwards, the traffic coming at us at 70+ mph. For a brief moment I'll never forget before the spin continues and we head towards the embankment. By some miracle, we hit no one and no one hits us. I think, oh shit, we're gonna flip, we're flying towards the bank. But the car just slides up, hits a thick patch of brambles and stops. We continue to sit there in silence, until I can muster an, "Are you okay?" I think I'm okay. Not a scratch, not a bruise. We get out and curse the stupid fucking tireless rim. A kind lady pulls over and comes running to check on us. We WhatsApp her a photo later of us at the wedding. I felt so bad for my brother and SIL, literally every person there came to speak to us about what happened, talk of the town. Some of the other guests saw us stranded waiting for the rescue truck with our 45-degree bramble parked car. Today was the first time I did that journey again without having a panic attack. Had a little cry when we pulled off the motorway, but I struggle to go above 60 miles per hour now. Things under huge amounts of tension. Boat lines, garage door springs, various other cables or springs used in industrial settings. These can send you back to the character select in an instant. Capacitors. Maybe most people don't interact with them, but for those that do, DIY electronics repairs, a typical PSU in a home computer have capacitors that can kill you. Shocking, I know. Used to do commercial doors, and I've set some of these springs before that lift thousands of pounds. You are absolutely right, both the springs and the cables are actual death contraptions if something breaks. That reminds of an old video that was posted on Reddit maybe 10 years ago. Two guys are standing next to an open bay door for semi-trailers. The spring broke and the door caught one of them directly on the back of his neck. He folded like paper. Horrifying. One evening I was in bed when the loudest crack, pop I've ever heard woke me up. I couldn't figure out what it was until the next day when I tried to open my garage door and it wouldn't open. Looked up and saw the spring had broken in half. Microwave ovens. Minus 2000 volts capacitor, still live when unplugged. Got it. No putting the microwave on a pool floaty for hot snacks while swimming. Fist fight. One wrong punch and you're in prison for killing a dude. Or one wrong punch of the other guy and you're dead. One goes to the morgue and the other jail. One got wasted and to others a waste. Here in Australia we had a problem with this exact thing, especially at clubs, pubs in the major cities. An overarm punch to the back of the head with the full weight of their body behind it. Sometimes jumping into it. It was called a king hit. It hospitalized, disabled and killed so many young men. It became such an issue that our government spent a huge amount of money to rebrand it to the coward's punch. The problem went away so quickly after that ad campaign and I'm grateful for it. God, humans are such stupid violent apes. Imagine it being popular when framed as kingly and a campaign rightly calling it cowardly put an end to it. Lord, we are dumb. I know someone who got drunk and tried to provoke someone into a fight. The other dude tried to de-escalate but finally pushed him back and he fell, hit his head and instantly died. The man who pushed him didn't go to prison, as there were a shitton of witnesses and even the dead man's family understood that it wasn't his fault, but he still has to live with that forever. Didn't even punch anyone, just shoved someone away in self-defense and that was all it took. Dude, that is gonna haunt him, the most in alone, like what a fucking incident took place. Oh, this isn't the question I thought it was. I was gonna say a lil nipple sucking usually does the trick. I'm so glad I wasn't the only one rolling on the floor laughing. I was wondering why there was no NSFW tag. Removed. I'm an electrician. Can confirm. It's shocking, pun intended, how much of the general public is oblivious to the dangers of subpar standard electrics that their mate can always do cheaper. Removed. Heat stroke. The heat can creep up on you. I've had it 3 times. Hospitalized for all events. Worked at the zoo here where I live. Management neglected my symptoms and was threatened to be fired. One of the managers was a registered nurse, so how that didn't raise red flags, I don't know. Worked on cars, same reason as Carrot felt extremely ill and nearly passed out when another mechanic called an ambulance for me, which resulted in both of us being fired, and the reason given was written up as unprofessionalism at the workplace. The job, you may ask. I worked as a mechanic at Subaru. 3rd time, worked on my mom's car. It was about 98 degrees outside, humid, overworking myself and bolts didn't come loose that easily. Add a bunch of physical labor, heat plus humidity, can really do you in. Yes, I drenched myself in cold water, but also drank an ass load of cold water, but it was already too late. Which, being hospitalized, and fortunate, I was told that I could not work in hot temperatures, cause I am sensitive to the heat and humidity. That is some horrible management all around. Ugh, I came so close to getting it, one day that was 90 plus and I was trapped in a car with no AC and in the direct sun. We drove about a half a mile, and then I was like, go back home, I'm going to freak TF out, because the whole situation gave me a panic attack cause it combined beautifully with my claustrophobia. I spent about 2 days recovering and now I handle hot and trapped situations very poorly indeed. I worked concrete in AZ when I was in my 20s. My entire team was Mexican, it'd be 104 degrees outside, they'd all be pounding Coca-Colas, water all day and I didn't really get it, I am from the north. They'd keep offering me both constantly. I guess the sugar and water just kept you going and alive. I finally listened to them when I passed out one day and woke up in a pool of concrete with a bunch of Mexicans laughing and pouring water on me. I'm a 6'5" pasty white dude and was super muscular at the time. They were all maybe 5'6" with beer guts and had 20 years on me. I just did what they did after that. They'd all patted me on the back every time I consumed a liquid and kept saying, agua blanco, agua blanco. It kind of became my nickname. AZ resident here, our heat is a dry heat, which means there's a ton of heat and very little humidity. This kind of heat is actually very similar to what the human body evolved in, and is a major reason we sweat. When the sweat evaporates, it removes a bunch of heat with it. Acclimation plays a big role too. You need to be careful if you're not used to working in the heat, but once you're acclimated, you can basically just keep going as long as you drink an absolutely insane amount of water, and keep up on salts, electrolytes. Sweat is not just water, and if you only drink water to replace it, you can run out of the other stuff. Also, salt can help keep the water in your body instead of you peeing it out. First aid for heat exposure is easy here too. You just bring the person inside. If they're still sweating, you can probably just keep administering water and cooling, but monitor them. If they've stopped sweating, call 911 and place wet towels or ice packs wrapped in towels to cool them. Humid heat is what's truly terrifying, at least to me, because the high humidity means it's extremely difficult for your body to radiate the heat away, since your sweat doesn't evaporate as easily. I've been in 120 degrees plus summers here, and worst I've ever felt was walking out of state in a 95 degrees summer with nearly 100% humidity. I don't know how those guys do it.